大家好，我是秦苏珊律师。那最近的话呢，我们有很多客人打电话过来讲，他的亲属或者是朋友在外州因为开卡车或者开小的货运车呢，或其他的车被抓了。被抓的时候呢，那他的车里面可能会有毒品，会有钱，或者是会有其他的一些物品。那这种情况的话呢，该怎么办？就是如果你在外州被抓，你被抓的时候该怎么办？所以今天的话呢，我会跟我们的就是前 FBI 的刑事辩护律师 Craig， 我们会去讨论一下，就是你被抓了以后你该怎么办。Hey Craig.
Hello.
Hi. Lately, we've been getting a lot of calls from family members and friends saying that someone they know crossing the states from Texas, Oklahoma, Nebraska, they were being arrested because they were somewhere on the highway, got pulled over by the police, and once they got pulled over, then the police starts to search the car, and then there's narcotics, marijuana, money, things that in the truck, and then of course the driver or passengers get taken into custody. So can you tell us? Let's say if the person get pulled over by the police, what should they do?
Yeah, so if you get pulled over, a lot of times in these cases, the truck drivers aren't even aware that they have drugs or proceeds of drugs that they're transporting. But it is important to remain silent, even though you're not aware of the drugs or the currency. Just remain silent and ask to speak to an attorney. Even if you deny it and say it's not yours, it's not going to help your case at all. A lot of times law enforcement, you have to wait for a canine unit to show up at the scene so the dog will alert, to establish probable cause. A lot of times the police will find some minor traffic violation to justify the stop. But the law enforcement is very well aware of corridors that are used for transporting drugs and currency. So if you ever find yourself being pulled over and the police have probable cause to search the vehicle, probably because of a dog alert, the police will probably arrest that individual, but that person could probably be out of jail within 24 hours and given a new court date. In which case, you can retain an attorney. We'll make sure we can get you out as quickly as possible, and then we'll appear with you on your subsequent court dates and fight the case.
So once they get arrested by the police, so they're going to be in custody. So there's usually going to be a bond. Would you suggest that the family members pay the bond if they have an ICE hold?
Yeah, if you have an ICE hold, don't pay the bond because ICE will be waiting for you and will just pick you up and deport you right away. So definitely be very mindful of that.
So if there's an ICE hold, let's say if somebody paid the bond and ICE picked up this person, what's going to happen to the bond, to the money that they paid?
You lose it. You lose it. It's very unfortunate that because you will, even though not your fault. You're not going to be able to make your subsequent court appearances because you're going to be deported out of the country. Your visas to enter the country will be denied. So you will miss your court dates, and unfortunately, it would make the situation a lot worse.
Oftentimes, we get immigrants who get arrested for this kind of charges. They get really scared, because they have family members here. They're just working as a truck driver, and now they're being charged with drug trafficking. Can you tell us how serious is it when someone is being charged for transporting narcotics in the United States?
Yeah, it's a very serious charge. With currency, with currency seizures, a lot of times the government, they're interested in asset forfeiture, and a lot of times. Someone's transporting currency says, well, this is not my money. I don't know how this $1 million got into my truck. And they'll just sign a waiver saying, well, I have no knowledge, and the police will seize the currency and actually might let the driver go because, they're more interested in the $1 million, and forfeiting that without anyone challenging it. If there's drugs found, you're probably most likely going to be arrested no matter what. Just even if you had no knowledge of it, just being the driver of a vehicle that contains narcotics, the law enforcement is going to assume that you had knowledge of it and, you were facilitating the transportation of narcotics. You can be arrested and charged with a serious crime. A lawyer can be very helpful to fight the government's case and ensure that you have a fair disposition and hopefully no criminal record.
So with this kind of charges in other states, how long does it take for the process to complete, for the entire case to go away?
Yeah, in New York, it could take several months and numerous court appearances. Sometimes in cases like this, we do what's called a proffer, where the individual is like the king for the day. They have immunity, and they sit down and they talk to law enforcement and the district attorney's office, and they cooperate fully. Because most of the times in cases like this, the government is not interested in the driver. They're interested in the bigger fish, and any information that this person could provide to help build a case against the actual drug trafficker. Law enforcement would be very interested in that, and that person could avoid criminal sentence because of their cooperation. So a lot of, that's something that I would discuss with the client to say, hey, would you be interested in cooperating because you had no knowledge of it, but you have some knowledge of who hired you or whatnot, and any information that you can provide to the government to help them with their case could be very helpful.
Thank you. 那刚才呢，我跟 Craig 律师我们聊了一下，就说如果你在高速上被 pull over 被抓了，那你的车里面的话呢，被警察或者是说警犬查出来里面有毒品或者是有钱或者等等，那这种情况你一旦被抓的话呢，你一定要保持沉默，就说要见律师。那通常在你被抓进去以后呢，24小时内你是会去见法官的。那见法官的时候呢，法官有可能会把你的保释金降低。打比方说你被抓的时候呢，你的保释金是5万美金或者10万美金，可是在你第一次上庭的时候，你会有一个免费的律师或者说你自己请的律师，那他就会跟法官去辩护，说你的这个保释金太高了。那当然了，有的时候法官会根据你的情况，也有可能把你的保释金从10万涨到50万，也不等。所以呢，就说在上庭的时候呢，你的律师会帮你去辩护这个保释金。那当然了，有的时候直接交了保释金，你出来以后呢，在外面去打这个庭。那如果说你的这个 case 有一个叫 ICE hold， 那 ICE hold 就是说，你如果是绿卡或者说非法移民的人，或者说庇护证等待的人呢，你一般抓到就是这种刑事监狱，你会有一个 ICE hold， 特别是在外州，像比较保守的那些中部的一些州，那就是说你如果交了保释金 ，ICE 其实就在门口等你。你保释金一交，刑事监狱把你放了，可是 ICE 会把你抓到移民监狱去。那你到了移民监狱的话呢，每一次你刑事案件要上庭的时候，他会把你从移民监狱押到刑事监狱，或者是说你直接在移民监狱以 video 的形式去上刑事的庭，但是后果就很严重。也就是说，你的保释金交了，打比方说你是5万的保释金，那你被移民局的人又带走了，也就是说你这5万的保释金就白交了，这5万的保释金是不会被退回来的。那刚才我们还谈到，就是说如果你在被抓的时候，你的车里面有毒品，比方说大麻也好，冰毒也好，钱也好，那这些物品的话呢，都是会被警察没收，因为这个它是属于就是违法的物品。所以呢，就是我们的建议，就不管是你的朋友、你的亲人或任何人被抓了，一定要保持沉默。第一件事情就是联系有刑事辩护经验的律师。那在秦苏珊律师楼呢，我们就是这个律师团队，特别是像 Craig， 他以前就是给政府做刑事辩护的，那可以联系我们，我们24小时都在这里为您服务。